Now, if we're going to be honest, even if the next Sonic game were to be revealed tomorrow, it'll probably still come out like next year. If it's going to be revealed at some point in the next couple of months, which it probably will be, it will be in the upcoming Sonic Central, if that's even happening, or in Summer Game Fest, which both of those are happening next month. What could be revealed was the Sonic Frontiers Definitive Edition. I've already talked about that in another video, so go check that out if you haven't. But what I wanted to talk about was not what we'll see in the next game, but who we'll see in the next game. I feel like we need a lot more of the non-main cast characters being present in the games, because like the last game some of these characters are present in the actual mainline games was Sonic 06, Heroes. If you want to push it, then maybe Sonic Rush Adventure. That's 2007. I'm not going to count Generations because they don't add a lot to the story, just characters to save. But yeah, just going to go over who I could see getting in the next Sonic game. Let's go. Tangle and Whisper are probably the most wanted characters here. They've got voices from the Chaos Case Files. They've got models from Sonic Racing Crossworlds. It makes sense for them to be in the next game. Realistically, the next game is going to be like a Frontiers 2. Instead of them being like Tails, Knuckles and Amy where they need saving, I'd love for them to go on the adventure with Sonic. I haven't read the comics, so I don't know much about them. I like them in the Chaos Case Files though. But my point is that that's actually a perfect layup. What I mean by that is like people like me who don't know much about these two characters, they can be introduced in a way which kind of instantly establishes their power and their good relationship with Sonic. It's just such a perfect pass, and if these two are in the game, I'd love to see what SEGA does with them. Next up is Silver and Blaze. Last time Silver had a somewhat prominent role, Sonic Forces barely, where he just got battered by Infinite, or Sonic Generations, which I guess, yeah. Last time Silver had like an actual role in this story was probably Sonic 06, which obviously 2006. The last time Blaze had a somewhat prominent role, I haven't played it, but maybe Sonic Colors for the DS? Maybe? Both of these characters are loved to death by the community, and even Sega loved them, so why have they just not been in the games? It isn't like they're forgotten or anything. They were literally both in Crossworlds, fully voiced and everything. Silver and Blaze fans like me are literally starving to death here. We need something. We're still living off them from Sonic Rivals for the PSP. Do you know how mental that is? Surge and Kit have also been mentioned being in the next game. I know, like I said earlier, I haven't read the comics, but I do know both of their backstories. That's made me think like they'd be sick in the next game. If you don't know their story, they were like two normal everyday citizens. They got abducted by this creepy guy called Dr. Starline, turned into basically like an evil Sonic and Tails. They got manipulated into turning into that. Instead of Surge having speed, she had like electricity powers, and Kit was just basically just a water bender. They were both told to destroy Sonic, and eventually, after learning they were abducted and manipulated by Starline, not only did they blame him, but also blamed literally everybody who could have possibly been involved. That includes Sonic, Eggman. Again, I haven't read the comics, but probably Tails, Knuckles and Amy. I think they just kill anyone realistically. But again, similar to Tangle and Whisper, I don't know much about these characters, which is a perfect way to introduce them to people like me who aren't that familiar with them. If they were to be in the game, I could probably see them as a side boss like Giganto or Wyvern from Frontiers. I find it very hard to believe that they'd be the main boss in a game. Next up is Team Chaotix. I love every single one of these characters, including Charmy. I don't know why he gets so much hate. I love him. Pretty sure it's Sam or Fidel who said this, but having just one of these characters in the game doesn't work. They pretty much have to go together. That's why the Chaos Case Files was so good. When they have been in games, they've usually been irrelevant or just pure buns. They were the second worst team in Heroes, but had a good story. I personally think Dark Story is worse. I just hated playing through that whole thing. It was such a slog. They added literally nothing to Generations and Forces, and in Team Sonic Racing, 2 out of the 3 of them weren't even there. It was just Vector. All 3 of these characters have some of the best personalities in the series, as we saw from the Case Files, and it would be so good for them to somehow be involved in the next game in a better way than these past games did them. Playable, I'm not too sure. I do really want them to be in this next game though. Wow, this next one, Takar the Echidna. Jesus Christ, just give us Takar. We are munching of scraps from Sonic Speed Simulator, Sonic Rumble. We're eating off scraps from the Sonic Forces mobile game. That's mental. She had such a massive role in Sonic Adventure and has never even been mentioned, I think, since that game. And no, I'm not including battle mode in SA2. I think she got somehow like referenced in Sonic Forces, but like no dialogue about her or anything. She's the one who literally saved the world in SA1, and while she may be dead, so was Maria and what happened during Shadow Generations. She was in the game. Also, apparently Chaos can return in times of great crisis. I don't know, I read that off some Reddit post. Maybe Chaos could return in the game, which then eventually means Takar will. She also just has such a sick but sad backstory. I'd love to see her back in the next game. Actually, I said she's dead earlier, but I don't think there's any evidence of them being actually dead. I don't think they are dead. I'm not too sure. They could still be around and we just haven't seen them. Yeah, but like I said, it would be cool to see them back again. Finally is Infinite. We saw what Sega can do with Infinite in the Chaos Case Files. He was sick. Spoilers coming up, by the way, so skip to the time on screen if you don't want spoilers. But yeah, at the end of the Case Files, he disappeared in a bomb explosion to cover his tracks, meaning that he's still out there. He even said to Sonic that they'll meet again, so he'll definitely come back one day. Hopefully a villain in the next game, maybe? The whole thing about the astroscopic lenses is so sick and could be utilised very well in the upcoming game if done properly. I don't mind his backstory too much. It wasn't dookie, but like, it could maybe use a tiny patch up. Other than that, like Surge, if he were to be in the game, he'd probably just be a side boss. Before him being in the Case Files, I would have said don't make him a main villain. But now I've heard what he can do, I'm not as scared of the idea of him being one. I'd rather him not though. That's about it from me though. Obviously there's characters like Shadow or Rouge, but they've been in a few games recently. I more wanted to talk about characters that I've never been in the game or haven't been for a while, who I could still see getting into the game. I was going to make a full length video about this, but decided to do a little yap session so I could give you guys something before the huge Transform video. Coming soon, by the way. Not sure how long, you know me. It could be a month or two. There's loads of other characters who I could have mentioned, so if I miss any of your favourites, let me know who you think could or should be in the next Sonic game. That's all from me now. See ya.